गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। So welcome everybody to the Cafe Spirituality Wisdom Talk. Today we are very privileged. We have one of my favorite musicians, Shruti Nada Poddar. And Shruti के बारे में जो कहूँ कम है, क्योंकि my introduction to Shruti happened through her rendition of Nirvana Shatakam. I fell in love with her voice and her rendition of Nirvana Shatakam even before I got to know who she is or I met her. And when I did, I shall vouch for it that I was excited like a little child. I said, you are the person who has sung that. You are the person who has influenced my life this way for so many years, and I didn't even know that. And so it is really a privilege today, Shruti, to have you here and speak about the subject of Sri Vidya and Shakti. And there are so many people waiting to hear you. But just before I hand over to you completely and you can take us through this journey, for those who have joined for the first time, I want to just give you a brief this thing about what Cafe Spirituality is. We are a group of seekers. We have loyalties to our seeking, to the quest, to the ultimate goal, and not to anything else. We kind of help each other along. We have an FB group, we have a WhatsApp group, and through this journey, through this time, we are trying to get more and more people to come and speak to us on this subject, on various subjects, so that our repertoire of the options that are available for this inner quest are made available, and we can all find what we resonate with and go more deeply into it. And about Shruti, she's a musician, she's a vibrational healer, she teaches the ancient sciences, and above everything else, she's an entrepreneur. And she's doing such amazing work at Shekhawati, where she's restoring a Haveli and she's created livelihood for the people there, and she's bringing tourism, she's bringing people in heritage tourism in that part of the world. It is amazing. You know, I've always maintained that spirituality and material are not different, that life is one cohesive whole, and Shruti embodies that truth, that the Divine Mother can be an entrepreneur and be a musician and be a social being and live a wholesome life. And over to you, Shruti.
Thank you, Anu. It's always a pleasure to hear you even in an introduction. I must add here that Anu herself is an amazing person who wears so many hats and does everything with great joy and abandon and is always smiling. So it's equally a pleasure to know you, Anu. And I'm glad that we are together along with so many Shaktis on this. Collectively introduce ourselves to ourselves because we are all Shaktis. So how can Shaktis study Shakti like a subject? It would be a failure on my part if I introduce this to you as a subject today. So my singular goal in this short time that we have is to begin us all together on a journey of discovering ourselves as the play of the Divine Mother. Who is this Divine Mother? The Divine Mother is every moving force, every moving vibration in this universe. Because the whole understanding of divinity in terms of the feminine, in terms of Shakti or Devi, which is synonymous in our culture, also Shakti is synonymous with force, with strength, with power. So we cannot treat the word Shakti split into two. If Shakti means power, if it means force, if it means energy, if it means strength, and if it means the feminine and the Devi, then all of them are the same. So how are they all the same? They are all the same because the idea of the feminine or the Shakti as the Devi is that which has got the potential of the universe, the potential divinity of the universe into kinesis, into movement. So all that moves in the universe is Shakti. All that moves, all that vibrates, all that turns into Shunya or into Para, all that moves Para or non-movement into movement is Shakti. We also call Shakti Nada sometimes. You've heard the word Nada. Nada you often think of as sound. You might have heard the word Vak or Vacha, speech. In the Mahabharata, you say Sanjay Uvacha. So Vak, we also say that Vak Devi sang the world into creation. Now, what does that mean? It means that Shakti, which was non-moving, first became an urge, an ichha to move. So from para, from non-movement, from non-vibration, it came into the level of vibration which is pashya, to see, pashyanti Vak. So Vak Devi became that which you see, that which you visualize. Then Vak Devi became Madhyama Vak. So you come to the level of Madhyama. If we treat ourselves as Shakti, then who are we? We are all potential. From that, we become people of desire, people who visualize something, people who want to do something, want to become something. So you reach the level of visualization of your creation, yourself. That's Pashyanti Vak within you. Then you use all your skills and faculties and resources available to you to start a process. That process is the middle stage or Madhyama. So you are the Madhyama Vak or the Shakti at the Madhyama stage. And then out of that process, you create something or you produce something or you manifest something. So you come to the manifestive level, and that is called Vaikhari Vak. So whenever we talk about Shaktis and we are going to talk about Sri Vidya, we are talking about the conversion of potentiality into the flows of our own universal energy. So we are not going to talk about anything abstract. We are really going to talk about ourselves, our bodies, our minds, because we, in the study of Sri Vidya, which is studied, and I'm going to show you this before we begin and take the blessings of this beautiful sacred Meru. This is you have seen it probably in a two-dimensional form. This is the Sri Yantra or the Sri Chakra. And if you see it in the three-dimensional form, it is also seen as the Meru or the mountain of consciousness. So this is the Sri Yantra, which is also called the body of the universe in its various planes of consciousness. It is also known as the body of the Divine Mother. So the Divine Mother is personified by the Sri Chakra. And it is also our own body. So the Sri Chakra maps upon our own body and our own levels of consciousness, which also coincide with our chakras. So in Sri Vidya, we actually study 9 chakras. If you see here, you will see 9 levels: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the Bindu, 9. So unlike the general study of chakras that you would do through Hatha Yoga, or the general things that you would get on the net, Sri Vidya takes you through 9 planes of existence, 9 planes of consciousness, which are constantly interacting with each other, which cannot live independently of each other, because if they do, then there is lack of harmony that creates disease of consciousness on the psychological level, on the physiological level, on the mental level, and on levels beyond. So, so let us begin with the understanding of the word Shakti with respect to a cultural symbolism, which is the idea of Shiva and Shakti. Now, if we talk about Vedic knowledge, where we use the word Veda as a metaphor or as its literal meaning, then Veda means to know. Ved hona. Huh? So Veda means to know. However, if we talk about Vedas as the scriptures, then Sri Vidya is not part of Vedas or the scriptures. Sri Vidya is what we popularly understand as the line of many, many, many tantras. So if you talk about Kashmir Shaivism, that is also line of tantra. There are many, many, many tantras. So unfortunately, the word tantra itself is misunderstood. Tantra means discipline. Tantra means technology. Tantra means science. You know, you have machinery tantra. You have all kinds of tantras in Indian culture. So the word must be understood in the right context and not in the context of some, witch-like ritual or some sexual ritual and so on. It's been really reduced to a ridiculous, simplistic mode, on the internet, but that's not what Tantra is. There are thousands of texts of Tantra, which are there, but we have no. So just to bring you closer to the science of Sri Vidya, and all we are going to be able to achieve is a drop in the ocean that is Sri Vidya. Anyone who even comes close to this ocean and tastes a drop is blessed in this life, because for the first time you realize that you are actually accessing your being from within, not just from ideas in the head, which often are intellectual pursuits take us into. We are not here to intellectualize. Sri Vidya is an ocean where you actually get yourself wet, where you experience, where you begin to access your cells, where you begin to access the energy that flows in your body, where you begin to use your indriyas, your tools of sound, of sight, of touch. Somebody is unmute. So
yeah,
can you please mute
shut the fuck up, I think.
Some people I can hear.
Sorry.
Somebody joined later and they have not unmuted themselves.
Anu, can you mute?
Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll mute. All good.
Hello.
Done.
No, where
I think
are you?
that was just Alet. Was that before?
Okay.
Anu?
Yeah, I've muted the person.
It's Alet Jones. Sorry.
Oh my God, somebody else again. What the?
So I can still hear sounds. So if everyone's silent, we can start. Yeah.
One second, hold on. I have to unmute you back because I muted all. I have to unmute. Oh, you unmute yourself, Shruti?
Yes.
Great.
So So Sri Vidya is that great dive into the ocean of our being. That great opening of our eyes that we are a hologram of the universal energy, of that great accelerating mountain of divinity, which is signified by the Sri Yantra. Everything that we experience within ourselves is mapped on to the larger reality of the universe. So all one has to do is to access the different planes within our own being to be able to access all those planes on the occult levels, beyond the occult levels, on the spiritual levels in life. Unless we understand the micro and go deep into ourselves through practices, simple practices, practice of sound, practice of bija mantras, practice of mudras, practices
How
of
do you
visual.
think? How do you think we can get closer to that spiritual
Also,
connection?
I'm going to remove.
That's Rajesh. I've got that was.
So no
What are
question.
some ways that we can do just to employ in our everyday life to feel that connection strongly?
Yeah, Rajesh. So we are going to have enough time for questions and answers. So
Oh, sorry, at the end.
not to interrupt while I'm speaking.
Sorry about that.
You open it up to questions. I'll answer all your questions.
Yep,
Okay.
all good. Yep. So Ala's problem.
Yeah. So again, request, please do not unmute yourselves unless we open up for questions and answers. Yes. So one by one, we go into different kinds of technologies, sacred technologies, sacred practices, where we realize how certain sounds, when we utter certain sounds, they resonate in different parts of our body. In fact, I want to introduce you to the idea that the Sanskrit alphabet is called the Shaktis. In fact, one way of understanding the Shakti is to understand the Shakti as the letters. Can you hear me? Am I there?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yep, all clear, one goal.
Yeah. So one idea in our culture is they say Shakti is the letters. Also, we sometimes say Aksharam Brahman, Akshara Brahman, which means everything that is uttered, everything that you say, everything that you speak is a Shakti. How is it so? How is it so? It's not an abstract idea, it's a real idea. So what happens when you utter a sound? And that takes us into the idea of bija mantras, because all bijas are Shaktis. Every bija is connected with an idea of a form, a deity, which we will come to later. But let me introduce you to the idea of bija mantras, which is an integral part of Sri Vidya. There are thousands of bija mantras in Sri Vidya. What is a bija? What is a seed? What is a seed energy? A seed energy is made up of three parts, basically. The first part is, say, a consonant. So it is a letting out of a force. K, b, l, h. So that's the letting out of a particular force. How is that force created? By the percussion of your vocal anatomy. Yes? How? Either labials, you put your lips together, p, or gutturals, g, or ch, palatals, t, dentals, and so on. What is a seed? What is a bija? A bija is that which, if given the right energy, the right nourishment, the right urja, it sprouts into a manifestation. It sprouts into something that affects life, affects our body, affects our universe, affects our environment in a certain way. So that is the meaning of bij or seed. So our great seers, our great practitioners in the past, through deep observation and deep practice, created a whole ocean of technologies that help us to access the different planes and parts of our being, to cleanse them, to harmonize them, and to empower them with the whole body and science of Bija mantras, a whole body of technologies of visualizations, colors, and a whole body of technologies of mudras. And of course, rituals using dhatus, using substances from the universe, using Agni, using fire, using the elements. So it's an unfolding wonder of practice, an unfolding wonder of the energies that you play with in your daily lives without even knowing what you're playing with. So Sri Vidya just helps you to know what you're playing with and play with it well. If you don't know the game you're playing, how will you play it well? So Sri Vidya helps you to play the game you're already in well, with awareness. And that's the wonder of Sri Vidya. And I must tell you that each one of us who even with complete surrender and sincerity enters this realm is blessed. We won't even have entered this realm or even heard a talk on this unless there is some opening within us to enter this ocean. Because indeed, once you enter it, it will open the universe for you. The universe of your own being, the universe of your cells. It will be able to let you see yourself from within, not just in this trapped mind that we have. Often, many of us seekers in our lives, we learn and learn more and learn more, but what are we learning? Text. We are learning ideas. We are learning about Brahman. And then we have a fight with each other. This is Ishwar, this is Brahman, but Krishna is better than Ram. And this Upanishad says this, and this Veda says this. And I love the Upanishads, I teach the Upanishads, and so on. But most of these practices get you trapped in your minds. You don't go beyond your intellect, beyond your capacity of reasoning, beyond your feeling of being enlightened to actually access, am I truly enlightened in my cells? Am I truly enlightened in my body? What is happening to me within me? Do I understand how to cure the diseases within me? What are the tools and technologies that I can use to cure myself without medicines? That's the power of Shaktis. That's the power of Sri Vidya. So let us construct a Bija mantra. How do you understand that this is a Bija? Let us think about the elements of nature. Every letter in the Sanskrit alphabet is an accessibility to an elemental state in nature. For instance, H. Now, when you say H, what do you feel? Akash. Hung. H, A, Bindu. Not Ma. H, A, Three things, a trinity creates a Bija mantra. A single sound, but made up of a trinity. Shra, E, N. Shri. That's a Bija mantra. So every Bija mantra is a trinity of sounds together. That trinity of sounds creates an impact in our consciousness, an impact on our physical body. Each sound resonates in a particular part of our body, cleanses it, harmonizes it, empowers it. So there are sets of Bija mantras that we use that cleanse the body, that cleanse our nadis. It's all part of the sciences of Sri Vidya. Nyasas, we call them nyasas. How do we operate with nyasas? We sometimes use physical movements and mudras, like in the Karanyasa and Anganyasa, where we actually cleanse our nadis along with Bija mantras. Or we chant Bija mantras and visualize certain things happening in different parts of our face, on our head, inside our face, on our tongue, in our throat, flowing down our body. So there are various visualizations in Sri Vidya, along with seed sounds, Bija mantras, that actually will make you feel a change in your cells, on the cells of your face, Amarnyas, which we will learn. We have a 7-day Sri Vidya exploring the Shaktis within us. We have a course from 9th to 15th, and you're most welcome to join that. In that, we will go through every single practice, all these nyasas, the bijas, the mudras, the understanding of the different levels of the Sri Yantra with respect to our chakras. You know, we know 7 chakras. We call them Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura at the navel, Anahata at the heart, Vishuddhi at the throat, and Sahasrara. So a lot of us would have already studied these chakras. You have them on the net. But Sri Vidya accesses 9 chakras. So along with these, which are called differently, they are called according to the Shaktis that play in the universe. So for instance, the Swadhisthana, where you have all your rasas, it is called Swadhisthana, but it is also called in Sri Vidya Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra, the fulfiller of all desires. So what happens at that plane in the universe? What happens in our body at that level? What are the psychological things that happen within us? What are the physiological things that happen within us? So we study each plane of consciousness along with our chakras in Sri Vidya. And then beyond this, there are 2 more chakras. There is one in the middle, one is at the 3rd eye, which we call Agnya. But in Sri Vidya, we call it Sarva Rogahara Chakra. Yes, and then, Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. And then you have this middle of the forehead, you call it the healing chakra, Sarva Rogahara Chakra. And then you have this at your widow's peak, or at the point where your forehead meets your crown. That's called Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra. That, the giver of your siddhis, not your spirituality, but your siddhis, your special abilities, like a gymnast, or power of levitation, and so on. So Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra. And then above, right above, you have your dish antenna, Sarvanandamaya Chakra. That part of your being that comes in touch, the Shakti and the Shiva merge. So your manifestation, your expansion, and your core, your Bindu, merge. And when they merge right on top, just like the Sri Yantra, the Bindu on top, when everything merges, when all becomes one, the expansion and the contraction into your core, into your potential, into all knowing, into all sensing, into all enjoyment, then that chakra is called Sarva Anandamaya Chakra. So that fascinating study of the different planes of your consciousness is a study of Sri Vidya. with its core symbol, sacred symbol, being the Shri Yantra. So, how much time do we have, Anu?
So we have about another 20 minutes because we lost 10 minutes in between.
We have 20 minutes. Okay. So should we open it to questions and answers? What do you think? I mean, I can go on speaking for days on Sri Vidya. What should we do?
So you've already shared that you have a course happening. But
We have a course, yeah. So we have a course. I can maybe share a number. You can put it on the chat. Should I share a number? Or you can just email vedaranya@gmail.com for more details. We have an extensive course of 7 days from 7 to 8 p.m. every evening. So those 7 days will take you through the various practices. We'll be covering the practice of the bijas. We'll be doing certain visualization exercises, Amar Nyas and other nyasas, and the mudras for the different chakras, the Shakti mudras, the Shakti bijas for the different chakras, which are different from the Mahabhuta bijas that you learn. Lam, Vam, Ram. Some of you might already be knowing those. Those are the Pancha Mahabhuta bija mantras that are not, they can be included in Sri Vidya, but Sri Vidya actually deals with Eem Vidya. So most of the Shakti forces are E. E is a downward force. So most of the Shakti sounds are Shri, Hri, Kli, and then the Ganesha Bija Mantra, Gang. So you have different, very interesting sounds. And as you utter the sounds, you will actually see the Shaktis traveling through your body.
so
We will also be covering, maybe I'll just introduce the idea of the Mahashaktis very quickly. So a very interesting study of our own Shakti, who we are and what is our role in this life, is through the understanding of the 4 archetypes of people in this universe. So there are 4 archetypes. People who are basically visualizers, people who can see the future, people who can see the wider truth of things. So the people who believe in seeing and advising others what they see. There are certain people who are fighters. They fight for a cause. They believe in causes. They have great tolerance. They have great activism in them. They are the surgical force, the surgical archetype, who have great tolerance. They can fight. They live to fight and to move for causes. That's a different archetype. You have a third archetype who believes in the play, who believes in communication and networking and so on. That's a completely different archetype of a person. All of us are either one or a mixture of 2 or a mixture of 3. And if you're a mixture of all 4 archetypes, then we are done. We don't need anyone. We can manifest everything ourselves. The 4th archetype is the person who believes in going into the skill and the perfection of one skill that they believe in or they enjoy. So such people are different Shaktis. And that secret comes through the study of the Mahashaktis, which we will also do in detail. Then there's another study that we will go into, which is also part of the large study of Sri Vidya, which is the Dasho Mahavidyas, the 10 wisdom Mahavidya, great Vidyas, which are personified as deities. Kali, Tara, Tripura Sundari, Chinnamasta, Bhuvaneshwari. But what are these? They are very beautifully drawn. They're shown as goddesses. So we call Dasho Mahavidya the goddesses. But what are they actually? They are all parts of us. Every single force, every single Shakti of the 10 wisdom goddesses or the 10 Mahavidyas that we talk about are our own forces of involution from the beyond into the earth consciousness. So through those different levels, we get more and more involved, so much so that we forget the origin by the time we reach the 7th Mahavidya. But when we get so involved that we forget our soul quality, that we forget where we come from, then out of that suffering, we start evolving again. And the last 3 forces within us are the evolved forces, or the evolutionary, the upward journey. So we will also take up the whole journey of the Dashamahavidyas in one of the sessions. It's a fascinating understanding of the forces within us, how we involve, why it's important to go beyond our idea of para, idea of I am perfect, to the idea of expansion. How do we expand? How do we get involved? And then through that, how do we evolve? So it's a personal study. Every study of Shakti is simultaneously a study of yourself and a study of the universe. And that is what is so beautiful about studying Shakti, about experiencing Shakti, actually. The experience is the key, not an intellectual study. Every session that we do will be an
So there is a question from Namrata Khanna. She's saying, what can you do in daily life?
Sorry?
Sorry, I thought, I thought you'd stopped because I think my video froze for a second. There is a question here from Namrata Khanna. She's asking, what can we do in daily life to harness the Shakti as a starting point in early practice?
We will begin with certain ways in which, just by the power of sound, because visualization access you have, sound, mudra, these are easy accesses because they work through your 5 gateways. They are the Panchendriyas, out of which the easiest one is looking at a Namrup. And that's why we have deities, we have rituals, because for human beings, it's very easy to see something, to do something with your hands. So the easiest access is ritual. It binds you to a structure. But if you want to go beyond ritual, if you actually want to access the Shaktis, then the second easiest gateway is sound, mantra, chanting. And for chanting, you don't have to be a musician. That's the power of the chant. You don't have to be a musician, because this is not a literary chant. We are not speaking words. We are taking up single sounds, bijas. So bijas can be practiced by anybody. And through bijas help you to harness your mind and body together, make your mind and body attentive, improve your breathing simultaneously. You have to breathe.
Could you repeat that, because I couldn't hear you at all in the middle?
Yes. Okay.
Could you please do the sound after the sound bit? I didn't hear.
Can you hear me now?
When you said from the sound, yeah, I'm good now.
Okay.
So, from the sound onwards.
Yes.
Yeah, the chanting and the sound.
Yes. So I just said after that the easiest way in Sri Vidya to access our body and to harness the concentration of our body, and hence the impact through concentration and through the resonance of sound, is Bija Mantras. So the first thing that helps us to begin our practice in a very simple way is the practice of certain sounds, certain Bija Shaktis, Bijaksharas or Bija Mantras, which are single sounds, which will help us to instantly arrest our mind into a concentrated state, into a meditative state, into an enjoyment state, into a state where we naturally breathe properly. The moment you begin to breathe properly, even without being conscious, because you cannot chant unless you breathe properly. So the moment you begin to chant, you automatically elongate your breath. The moment you start elongating your inhalation, and automatically, because you are chanting, your exhalation will become slow and elongated. So the process of breath, it will become a natural pranayam through the power of bijas, through the power of sound. So that's the first direct and easiest impact and most powerful. I have not had medicines for 32 years only through the power of Bijas. I have cured every viral, every cold and cough just by the chanting of one sound. Hum, hum. So even in this time where we feel challenged, instead of spraying everything and masking yourself all the time, start chanting. You will be fine. And make sure you have a lot of hot water. You will be good.
You've
So
actually
Bija
answered.
Mantras is a very, very fast way of accessing personal healing. We will begin with that. And mudras are powerful. There are fabulous mudras through the chakras, which we will learn through the course. Visualizations, very powerful. So we will do one of the nyasas early on in the course. I think by the third session that we have, or second even maybe, we will do the Amar Nyas, which is transformational, absolutely transformational. You get up in the morning, you do Amar Nyas, it will barely take you 2 to 3 minutes, and you will feel your whole face and body, all your cells, you will feel golden nectar running through your cells. Your face will become beautiful. And if you do it every day, do it with intensity. You will find your facial muscles. You will find your face changing. You will find your skin changing. It is so powerful. So, very, very exciting practices. Very simple, very meditative, very purifying. The practice we often call in Tantra, in Sri Vidya, in many, many kinds of technologies of the body, there's a left hand practice and a right hand practice, we say. Yeah? So the right hand practice is based mostly on understanding the yin and yang, or the Shiva and Shakti within us, understanding the mantric power through sound, through visualization, through so basically, unlike certain practices in Tantra where you need two people, you need a male and a female. In Sri Vidya, you do not need that. You have the male and the female inside you. You are Ardhanarishwara. You are Shiva and Shakti within. And you can access that through the power of sound, through the power of visualization, through the power of mudra, through understanding yourself as the Divine Mother. You, irrespective of your gender, whether you are male or female, you are the body of the Divine Mother. You are the body of the Divine Shakti. And all you need to do is access yourself. So that's all we are going to do. We are going to access ourselves through the 1 week ahead.
Thank you so
And
much.
it's
There
very
is
playful, very enjoyable.
There is one.
It's just a joy which is full of rasa, full of enjoyment and full of divinity. Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, there is one question where a person is asked: is Om a Bij mantra? Is Om also a Bij mantra?
Yes. Pranav mantra. It is the most important Bija mantra. Hrim in the Shakti practice, and Om. Om is also used in Sri Vidya all the time. All the time. Om is the Pranav mantra. Why is it the Pranav mantra? Because it's that link Bija. It's the controller. It's the manager of the Pancha Mahabhutas. Remember, even in the chakras that you might have studied, you have the 5 chakras below, which cover the 5 elements. And then when you come to the third eye, between your eyebrows, that is your Agnya chakra. So even in the common practice, we chant Om, and the Bindu, we will learn how to chant Om also properly. When you chant Om without closing your mouth at the end, because the end is not Ma, it is Bindu. So when you chant Bindu, then the sound vibrates here. This is the manager of your being. It manages the different elemental states and harmonizes them together. So Om is the key, one of the key bija, in fact, the key bija mantra, which manages your different elemental states, it is the father of the family. It controls the brothers and sisters and makes them act in harmony. If you have a strong Agnya Chakra, if you practice a lot of Om, if you practice Om and you chant Om and you take yourself into trance, I have experienced these when I started this journey of going deep into the Om, I think it was 1996. There are so many levels that open up to you. Levels of analogical thought, levels of intuition, levels of telepathy. So many levels of your mind open up with the chanting of Om. It's a very powerful Bija mantra. Yes.
So there are two more questions. One question you've already addressed, which is about will it help in curing of physical ailments and spiritually uplift us? You've already addressed
Yes, of
that.
course, of course.
One more question is,
Technology of the body.
can you elaborate more on
Go
the
ahead.
origin of Shri Yantra is a question Akash has asked. Can you please elaborate more on the origin of Shri Yantra?
The origin of Sri Yantra. And I will sound like one of those pompous scholars that you get all over the world. How can I tell you the origin of Sri Yantra? It is age old. Like somebody will say, what is the origin of the Veda? It has come through centuries, from, generation after generation, through centuries. I mean, we are fortunate that the South was not invaded so badly as the North. So practices of Shatavadhanam, 100-fold concentration, a person can do 100-fold concentration, 1,000-fold concentration. There are so many technologies. They have come through centuries. The important thing is, would you like to sip it? Would you like to know it? Or would you like to intellectualize it? What's more important at this moment? I don't know the origin. I just know that it has come down centuries. We are fortunate that we got gurus who taught us, initiated us, helped us to take it forward by initiating others. And it's like asking, where did the ocean come from? What is the origin of the ocean? Can I answer you that question? Similarly, I can't answer. When did Sri Vidya begin?
There is one more question from Diksha who's asking for the session that you're talking about. Will there be any reference study material also provided in the session?
Yes, there will be. There will be, because there are certain practices, certain nyasas, certain mantras, certain mudras. So once you have learned it, then we will provide the study material, because unless you learn it physically and visually with me, without doing that, it is not advisable to give the text, because you really cannot learn Sri Vidya through text. But you can use it as a reference once you have already learned it. So once we do it together, that will be followed by the text, or simultaneously while we are learning it. So if you're on the session, then you will get the text on the screen, and we will also provide it to you later via email. So yes, while we are doing the sessions, wherever text is needed, we will have the text. Wherever it's a direct experience, you don't need the text, so you won't have the text.
Okay, there are a couple of more questions that have come in. These will be the last questions we take. One is, of course, from Vijay Agarwal saying how to join the session. So if you could repeat the mail ID again for everybody's benefit once, and they could note it down.
So actually, if you see my ID, it says Vedaranya, healing, right? So just Vedaranya, take the spelling from my own ID. It's vedaranya@gmail.com. And if you want, I can give you Avantika's number. If you want, you can note her number and get in touch with her. So I will just share Avantika's number with you. It's 80. Should I type it on the chat?
I'm typing up. 80.
80.
Yes.
763.
763.
12793.
12793.
8073 12793.
Okay, I've sent the number to everybody.
763 12793. Avantika Gandhi. Her name is Avantika Gandhi. You can call her. and join us.
And Vedaranya at what?
And
What's the mail ID at?
gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Email.
Okay, I've sent it. There is one question. The last question is, what do we need to do to prepare ourselves for the course?
Sada mandahasam. Always be in smile, like my guru used to say. Just come with a smile, not with a frown. Don't come with ideas. Let go. Abandon yourself to the great Shaktis of the universe. Come with no thought. Just come with joy. That's all you need. Come without any preparation. Come without any expectation. Just come to take a dip in this ocean of experience with me. That's it.
Actually, we did take a dip in this ocean today with you as well. And thank you so much for that.
That was a very small one.
That
Yes.
is, despite the debacle that we had, I don't think anybody's enthusiasm, interest, or mood took a dip. And for that, I'm really immensely grateful. I would apologize for it, but I have no control on anything. So what should I apologize for?
That's all part of the dance. And it's part of the Leela. It's okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anu, enjoy. Don't be apologetic. It's fine.
Yeah. So we'll just
It's all good.
we'll just close it, and thank you very much to everybody. I shall just actually one of the greatest desire in me was to have you sing Nirvan Chatakam for us. And is it something I can still request?
Do we have time?
निर्वाण चटकन सुनने के लिए तो सबके पास समय होता है.
अच्छा, चलिए कोशिश करते हैं. हमारा गला बहुत अच्छा नहीं है, पर हम कोशिश करते हैं. मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमे न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुर्न वा सप्तधातुर्न घोष नवापाणिपादं न चोपस्थपायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेषरागो न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभाव न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थं न वेदा न यज्ञः अहं भोजनं नैव भोजं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेद पिता नैव मे नैव माता च जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शेषः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभूत्वाच सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभूत्वाच सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न चासङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेय चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्
Cannot thank you enough. Cannot thank you enough.
Thank you, Anand.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। I don't think I will say anything. People have gone deep in, and let them all be with themselves for as long as they want to. We will just end this session. Thank you. Heartfelt gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful, the session. Thank you so much.